terms of the course, this is actually supposed to be the first video you watch from my lecture, and a lot of you in 151 probably will never even see this video because you're not going to go to the supplemental resources until you take the first test, and once you take the first test, you realize that you actually could use resources to go to. So, before I give you a discussion on the first video you're going to see, and this is going to be our video on significant figures, I just want to say these videos are shot in random order. So I think the earliest videos are those that are the lowest theory. You'll see those about test 3 if you're on my 151 course. Yeah, those are kind of rough. They get better with time though. You'll definitely be able to see the transition. So, introductions out of the way. Welcome to the first video of Chemistry 151. We're going to talk about first the concept of significant figures. Now this is a concept that I promise will haunt you through the rest of the semester. If I had one major complaint from every student who took my 151 course, is because I will ding you for significant figures on every single test. And WebAssign will not take your answers unless you have the correct number of significant figures in your answer. And this video series is meant here to help explain to you how to figure out what significant figures are, figure out how many you should be finishing with, and how to enter your answers correctly. So, this video, what is a significant figure? Well, to think about that, we need to think about precisions of measurements. You see, I'm roughly 5'11", 6 feet tall, so that's roughly 2 meters. Now, I said roughly 2 meters. Why did it say 2.0 meters, 2.00 meters, 2.0000 meters? Well, the answer is I know that a yard, 3 feet, is roughly a meter. And so if I'm 6 feet tall, that's roughly 2 yards, so that's roughly 2 meters. I know my height precisely. It's 5 foot 11 inches. I don't know it to 11.0 inches, but I know it's roughly 11 inches, give or take half an inch. This is what your significant figures are doing. They're telling you how precisely you actually know the number. And so when we have a number referring to a height, my 2 meters is less precise than my 5 foot 11. And the reason why it's less precise is I don't know the conversion that well. I don't know how to convert from 5 foot 11 to meters, and so I'm going to say it's roughly 2 because 2 plus or minus half a meter is pretty reasonable. When I say 5 foot 11, I say 5 foot 11. I don't put any decimal points in the 11 inches because I don't know. Depending on my hair, depending on how tall I'm shorting, how much I'm leaning over, that's going to change the answer a little bit. So the reason we use significant figures in the science is we want to make sure that when we report a number, we let them know quantitatively how well we knew the answer. So if I take a measurement, let's say I measure temperature, and my thermometer doesn't have a decimal point, it only says 27 or 28 degrees centigrade. I need to be honest about that. I don't need to say 28.00 because that's saying I know 100% beyond the reasonable doubt that it was 28.00. There were no tenths of a degree, there was no hundredths of a degree. But I didn't. If my thermometer only measures like 28, 29, I only can report the one's position. What it also tells us is basically what's the least accurate number in a number. What I mean is that if we say 28 degrees centigrade, and I don't put a decimal point on it, well, by rounding we can go as low as 27.5 and as high as 28.4 and still not have an issue. So even though I say 28 degrees, the last number, the last significant figure is the one that's the least precisely known. There's an error bar associated with it. There's a little bit of noise in there, but we know it well enough to know that it's not 29 or 27. We just don't necessarily know how much that first tens position is affecting it. So what we're going to do in the subsequent videos is I'm going to show you how to calculate significant figures. The first video is going to say based on the number you have, how many significant figures you have. The second video is going to tell you if you're doing arithmetic operations, how many significant figures should you finish with. And the last one is going to tell you basically just a few worked examples. So, see you in the later videos and look forward to your 151 course.